Nsem-Pii TV nie.
Mamemfa wonko na enkomobia Dennis Miracle Aboagye watimu abetwetwen efa de koso enra ewo Ablekuma North no wososo timikonyamu echefa abusuya wose abra na NDC manti beduru ho na wo mobo eye madam hawa kumsi no gina ho na wontimi nya hwe na Ghana police force so ejina ho a wo montimi nya ho hwe no na etun so a na enya asem ketwa wose ade eye ne ya pa ne se ade abechi sa me 24 hours aso enso John Dramani Mahama entimu mabonten emeka sembia enche samrante na wo mo yesa enyam brasem no abusuya yakwai na ensem ahodo a Dennis Miracle Aboagye di ohuye ewa Ablekuma North no wankasa kokko chebi ne ba Nsem-Pii TV ensem ahodo group no so bia no de besan e de atoa ye na tifo so
to go and observe.
I actually wished I had a chance to run. With what transpired yesterday, I truly wish that there was an opportunity for me to run. But unfortunately, there was none. It was even much more riskier for me to have attempted to run at that point in time. As I was standing right at the entrance with about 30 policemen. Indeed, at that police station, there were 60 policemen. And in the morning, I had been there, Hawa Kumsen, Dakwa Newman, the candidate herself, Samia Wuku, Mustafa Bande, Akugan, we're all there. In fact, at some point, we're all having interviews together and having very good,
Yeah, I saw some of those lively chats. Mustafa Bande with Hawa Kumsen. They were sharing jokes, very nice.
We're all there. There was no incident. In fact, even the turnout was slow. So for the 1 hour I spent there, you didn't even have more than 3 people walking in to come and vote. So it was people just standing idle and chit-chatting. And the police had just kept everybody out there at the entrance, with just a few people in there. We had an agent within the perimeter. So Hawa Kumsen, Dakwa Newman were standing far away somewhere. There's some, I don't know whether it's a mission house, and having their own conversations. And then I was granted an interview to the City TV crew. So I saw about 4 pickup trucks just stop in the middle of the road. Then the gentlemen got out of the car. And you could see they were armed. They were armed. They didn't have covers to their faces. In fact, when I saw them, honestly, the interview was still even ongoing because people had just come and left in similar manner. Because usually, as the politicians come in, they come with, people. So I was even wondering who is coming next. Then they moved straight to the blockade that the police had. I mean, let me call them like a human formation that they had. I thought they would even stop and have a conversation with them. So a first policeman said, "Hey, stop." Then the first gentleman, he was in a camouflage jacket, hit him. He went back. He sat on the floor. Then he broke through.
He hit the police.
Yes. So when he hit him, he sat on the floor and he broke through. Then the rest went, abroad. So if you watch the video carefully, you'd realize that for the first 30 seconds, the police were not reacting. Because they themselves were trying to figure out what to do. Before at some point, after some had already gone in and were going after Hawa Kumsen, they tried to stop the rest. But even that, if you watch the video, you realize that they ran over them. It was a policeman who was standing right where I was, who grabbed me and said, "Miracles, come this way." So it was actually Jackie, your reporter, that I would say saved me. Because Jackie was seated on a wall, on the fence wall reporting. And then your video guy, your camera guy was this way, also had his camera right on top of the wall, also shooting. I remember telling Jackie that she should be careful. But the guys didn't seem to be locals. They didn't even seem to know the faces. And they didn't seem to care. So Jackie being on the wall, I use her as a shield because there's a billboard right where we were standing that came to the ground, and then there were some cars parked. So actually, that is where I stood. So I was right there. All the videos you are seeing from where we shot, I was standing by the video guy, except that they couldn't make me out. Because I'm sure if they had made me out, I would not be here this morning. But Samson, why are we here? Look at the police at the entrance.
And if you had attempted to run,
they would have
the point is that it does look, from the incidents you see, it does look like people who attempted to run rather got attacked.
Yes. Because you see, the guys didn't know faces. So if you are running, then they assume you are part of their target. So it was, look at the police, they are standing idle. They couldn't do anything initially. They couldn't initially. Until here where they try to stop the guys, they run over them. And you can see some of the police even moving around. See some standing up there doing videography.
Right.
You couldn't blame them. I think that, like Professor Enin said, the police were not armed. And basically, if they attempted to do anything, a lot of them could have been injured. But let me come to why we are even going through this. Something, if there was even an incident at the police station, I would be a bit more calmer. There was no incidents. There was nothing happening at the police station the time these guys came in. In fact, they are the ones who came in and brought this. But the NDC are not learning. The reason why I'm saying they are not learning is this. There was Etiwa, there was Talensi, there was Akwetia, there was Triponi, and usually I'm saying this to the Gen Zs and some of the people who are now following politics, and there was Ayawaso West. Today when we speak about these things, everybody refers to Ayawaso West as if that was the first. And then as if it was something that came out of nowhere and the MPP brought it. Before Ayawaso West, there had been 4 bloodsheds. In fact, Talensi, there was an instruction by the National Security to stop every vehicle and search. Everybody on this call recollect. At some point, they found guns and ammunition in the vehicle of the national chairman then. To date, nothing happened. The women organizer of the National Democratic Congress in Etiwa drove through a group of MPP supporters. Some are maimed and incapacitated till today. Nothing happened. Akwetia, Honorable Damboche's vehicle was shot into. His driver was hit. He was rushed to the hospital fighting for his life. Baba Jamal at that time, vehicles ran over people in Akwetia. Nothing was done about it. You see, it is as a result of some of these things that for whatever reason, some of the political parties at the time, after Etiwa, decided to begin to take the protection of their own people into their hands.
John Broadu made this point.
We cannot run away from that fact. We can't. We can't pretend that is it. We cannot solve the problems if we don't go into these things. So if we recollect, something happened in Etiwa. Etiwa was the first time in the history of the MPP that we stood up for ourselves. And we recollect the famous Yetrobo Bibi Kitwebi. And then since Etiwa, the MPP began to protect ourselves. When we came into power, let's give some credit to the Nana Danko Ekufado. Knowing very well that violence and electoral malfeasance and killing and all of that wasn't part of the MPP DNA, quickly mobilized all stakeholders to put together a law that would disband vigilantism. Let me tell you, as of 2019, that the anti-vigilantism law was passed, no political party had the kind of strength that the MPP had when it comes to what they did in Ablekuma North. No political party. We had the strength. We could do 3 times what they did in Ablekuma North as of 2019. But the president and the party then realized that that wasn't the way to go. Yes, we suffered it in 4 elections before we decided to own our own lives and our own protections. But they felt that it was time for us to put a stop to it.
The president was handed an opportunity through the Ayawaso Commission. And
even that still give Akufo-Addo some credit. For 4 by-elections where there were bloodshed, we never saw the kind of public inquiry and commission that we saw.
But the public inquiry must have a purpose.
It wasn't entirely whitewash. Maybe you can raise that there are other aspects that has not been implemented. But people were held responsible. Colonel Epoku and co suffered consequences for the actions. So you can legitimately raise concerns about certain aspects, but we cannot run away from the fact that that was the first time in the history of this. And I'm saying this for the benefit of the young people who are only hearing Ayawaso West. I'm saying that before Ayawaso West, there was a Talensi, there was a Tripoli, there was a Tiwa, there was a Akwetia under an NDC government. That led to the MPP now starting to protect ourselves. Fast forward, the same MPP realized that no, this is not the way to go. Let's pass laws that will ensure that we do. And we passed the law to disband something that we were ahead of when it comes to, protecting or whatever you call it. But with what I saw with my eyes in Ablekuma, and with what I have seen public officials, including some judge, a cabinet minister, saying that they are now about to start, I think the MPP has legal committee, the MPP has elections committee, the MPP has communications committee. It is fair that the MPP quickly reorganizes itself and gets self-protection committee.
Actually,
because you know why?
We are actually encouraging
because I was standing
the
there.
rhetoric we have heard since yesterday by people, some of whom say they were in the invisible forces or whoever they are.
So let me
that rhetoric.
So let me tell you why. 24 hours since this incident happened, we are yet to hear from our presidency. We are yet to hear from the president put up a simple tweet that
it's not 24 hours yet.
It's 24 hours. This thing happened around 10 a.m. I was there. It's 24 hours. It's 11:31. The president is yet to put up a simple tweet. Listen, I could have lost my life yesterday simply because we were going to vote. Because I had no protection. And you know why the MPP would need a protection committee? Because the police could not protect me. They ran and left me. I told you, I was standing by Jackie.
When you say protection committee, what are you talking about?
People to ensure that at the time this incident happened, there would be 10, 20 people standing behind me, holding me. And the MPP,
you are talking about tax.
I'm not saying that. I'm just telling you about protection. And I've given you history. You see, something. If we don't speak up about this matter the manner in which it deserves, it will never be. You know why? If yesterday Sam George and Co, who are cabinet ministers, who currently are saddled with the responsibility of our protection, had not made the kind of reckless comments he made, I would not be saying this, because I would have felt that we have a government that is concerned about what happened.
He was a victim.
Okay.
And no action was taken.
So there were victims in Talensi.
He, together with Hanabisu,
there were victims in Talensi. There were victims in Talensi. There were victims in Tripoli. There were victims in Atiwa. There were victims in Akwetia whose family members are alive. All of them should speak like that. And all of them should decide to take vengeance. And then we will continue and never end.
But if what they said, you follow them and you say it is wrong. Of course, in 2020, 8 people died. You should not be encouraging that kind of
I have just told you something that you are not listening to me. I have told you that what I saw yesterday should never recur. And that I could have lost my life. Let me probably put it this way. A bullet knows no political color. A bullet knows no political color. And in the midst of chaos, nobody is safe. Samson, the kind of videos you are seeing and what I saw, okay, you could send your own army and you could be a victim, you could fall because it's chaotic. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, okay. So it's not something that anybody...
Hold on for me. Yes.
Okay, let me just.
You hold on.
If you let me learn properly,
you hold on.
Then you can go to Aboagye. I mean, it's fair.
Yeah.
Let me just learn properly. So there are things that I think should be done. There is a law that speaks completely against what transpired yesterday. The police had a responsibility to enforce that law. They failed. There is a government who currently has a responsibility to ensure the safety of everybody. That government, as we speak this morning, has not spoken.
They have spoken. You want to hear from the president.
The government functionaries who have responsibilities of the state and are accountable to the state are making very reckless comments. I feel very unsafe.
I feel very responsible comments.
I've given you
Shamima, who speaks for government, also said things condemned.
Did I lie about the government functionaries who made reckless statements? So let me make those ones. You can make the Omanimbo Ames and Coos. Okay.
You are concluding.
So until they come forward and give some comfort and assurance to the people of this country, nobody is safe. Including they themselves.
That's a true point.
Can we do it? Violence, yeah. Electioneering violence. Yes, you be free.
Na say electioneering violence. It the police for free have caught Sudan. Ekopata hontokwa.
Ntiade ni ntimi.
Ba kakra we omu gina homo. Yes, penny selected omo officer omko ha omo yes sympathizers omo boa ma violence na akoso mo gina omo.
Siso omo ni momo yes sympathizers ni gina.
Nti omo nim. No mo bodyguards ama MPs na ni yina mpanifo no mo hu omo yes omo bodyguard. Wo ye be yu akwa guide obi. Opa. So I'm selecting bodyguards my own penny for them. So I'm selecting mom do mo sa elections in sa na na. Nanka police ni ba akopeka so be stop nipa. Sa match for we 50 police ni ba akopeka must stop for just one gun.
Right.
What? Onu be yin ndi kura say o phone so aso so mo ba mo mesin ko yen na so o phone.
Mo hwe na kakra na abegye mo.
Na radio phones the media phones are be brief for de didi how mon kan ho hwe na kan fa ba ko no media phones are o mu di twa be because NDC for the budget kesi ato ho for almost friends communication papa no hweso no sika mo de ma no so pa eti ha se oba no afro de se o mo mfrɛ o no otro ofrɛfrɛ o mo frɛfrɛ o mo frɛfrɛ penifo no ha no frɛ from dem ko se ba bi akwa bi na frɛfrɛ o mo frɛ from dem ko se ba bi no de obɛyɛ no aya bi eti topic cry se agenda cry se mo set na Ubako radio station do na okruma se ni nkran na se po na Bahomia ne ken Bahomia ne ken supporters no Bahomia ne ken ya semo yesipa Bahomia ne ken na Bahomia ne ken yetua ye ema ye tax om na de ma om to ko ti na man for discuss because who dey on kabiem why confused ba kakra chene fa no ho a next time we be steady the media for no most you are losing it do you are losing it ibisu anya ka ye den na de ani aka bom ne de ngia tum anya hwe integrity what akwaje 5000 integrity what akwaje fans nti ade pa woni mo ayesa o kan pa wontimi nka ti media for mo kan ho bi papa mo kan ho bi papa the so called the fourth estate was one mo de say mo be ka ba ko ho na enkoyi mo kan ho bi pa na how no nyina ekoso media for kan no kre sibia musi etu mo no si aba ba ko se be ko awie he no pa na nka mo de discuss we kanyama be ko fon kakra ba ko bien radio station do na ite do mo kan ho asam de when the Kennedy when the we omo mie no na wo kan ye ntua tax ma omo ye tax pay mo ye de ma papa na ote ho no nti obi nka se kodi na te obi nka se kaseti ano ba de te ho no ye nka ho ase na Ghana for nti ase but you even talk about it because of no ye ma obi e wodidi won kasa nti mo mbebie mo from ye ma nti mu ntimi nka de se mo ka and that is the problem one kan obi nti de ekoso Ablekuma ho na se poe enye bloggers foto na eye na wada roma independent person nti na only company and we gonna make full respect I'm telling you because ko funu bebre mu ndo maji ebi tare ho sa akọ nkan ofiri akọ nkan ukoye den ukawo correspondent oba reporter abro ba okoni pay master oba wifi enwumro die on timi sorry impon ko radio station and that is what is happening. It mo go over be failure omu failure o mine papa ombo tom kakra no omu de failure o mine catch them say they should set up they should set up tell them say media for need be they should set up bibia oni pa na respecting the pa fe ko tin nsem o kan say eh na dey na see ye bi ba kuro bi mu a obi ogigina mo ni kunani na kwa ya fe kire mo ko meeting bi ma o de kunani ni gina ho na me gina mo say eh ko ya so
and then next year
he has been compromised it Mr. Mo because there's a ban what to do wafa judicial crown no san fashion butum na parliament there wafa ni nyina eno wafa executives the media kakra nso anka mbetima ka bi kakra no mo nso mo de akwaje kakra akwaje indomie no asefo mo there then there's a problem sa violence now come say be koso e be twane na asefo mo de nko betimi mana end pa Yura Muhammad because no bank wonko bi but you see those who are benefit from it they will continue to defend it but with the hypocrisy as we defend it as we boa but yineni monkosonkoye and that is what is happening ya hwe yia de be kosuni one MPs no any omombe pe MPs no inse so mbe chesika kra de ama omombe to aba ama omo sese no ombe tuesika ama macho men for the boys no
mabomba
edi se bibi ya no wi edi ya ye me nka se macho fo nyina drugs for respect but do no ombe ma omo sa hanema na momo so de ayi di nsem hu ho ase momo boy ho ba because the police no so bi anya hu say police dey say dey omo kwa hwe because police for gina ho na ho kum sin gina no bitimi tu fasoro say we no ba be bona kuna na hu so ntimi nya hwe ho a then won ntimi mfa gidi say police
definitely yes
it police no gina kra unfere say we mu so me macho man those untrained na won ntimi protect human lives na bosome so amukra 15 na se video mu pay what you pay one to me and you am protecting human life. Adaya NDC for ni bi enemy offer say maame no why threat why in the name why pay. Hey, na Judas cross and you no. No people Judas ana kwa mitua asantemam kwa mitua cross and to the susa. Ne e kan omo di sabin hu e wa akurom ha se ne Ghana ha na se fo mo se nka be brandi se fo bre nkomu timi nante pate bia be nya poso omo kase tiampani fo kra wa ha adip agen niema enye kra omo nya positions e bi kra ko nya ambassador nya sa ne kana na ona utua arote orade ho na se oman no ene timi pane so obi se ha wa kum se utwituo enti edo call court no court se kodam 2 years kodam this and answer acquitted and discharged anya wo a wo free eya edo gu koko ke mo aba na ntwe ke mo aba na utu afa soro so kokobo obi ekono when this amra ne se unsem so ye betania glorify say maame no onye nti no obi nye ne se ya the next this you know tell the abronye kan abronye nye obi am supporting ne name wo kan ono one of the problems ni bia o kasa bebre niama be no yemfa sa niama ntete enchechire political party yemfa yechire kro debi san tokwasem ina mba meyi obi na sefo no enye sebi nyansa bi anhye danim debi oba mamra enye adwuma enkase obi yese ti me ba police ni me ba me onse me mo retirement me yiwadi de otumi na awo na so onya otumi na ayo no kra na wo chechire o man na na se obo o man no You don't say things like that. Sometimes when I say sober reflection, the papa na ye no wa anya de. Mon kan kire mama say the ohwe man nko ofo koye no wa anya de. Because me de ni nyina we ni nyina at the doorstep. Ono no ma soldier police for any match for you no mom koye sa ne ma no antiase wum say ono mom koye because ne de ye ho bambo nyina a hyere nsa. E no so sense won kran. Ensi ojato kurum na ensi jape kurum esi won kran. Baby and the seat in the walk and to a new name. I dear chin in Koba, dear Tien say, what Fred, Inspector General Police. Papa Penua, Yenny in any doubt, so say, we dear, and yet what we did deputy crown, no better than Sokakra. And Kadampa and Anton can go from the side. Obi or Antino, what called you mamma on your promotion about Mocasa Montiasi? Oh, because I do a cramon says, I wake a crack test when or fairly. Uko boko nso sa boku de kosi ye wono nso boku kra ho nsem bebre ya so bi amfetu ya momikwe na miami ni no sa ne mane mesisi we nyina bi ani o onto bu a position ye mfa mano a aya na hu ade kro ne bi na bibi unse MPP for chairman o compare ma akoma akose numu sensia o okobi om se dabi okobi om se dabi e kire om se eni o de wakosa aye mfa mano o de ma no hu de kosi enti obi o ha o pray na mfa mano a
No, dear free.
Because you rent him. Of course, comes the Debbie. Of course, I don't say I feel the would you ever money. I didn't know my way.
But that's it. I said,